Mrs. Roque says her 30-year marriage has survived heartbreak and betrayal. Now she's afraid her husband is up to his old tricks again. Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding. Your Honor, the case of Roque v. Roque.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Roque, Mr. Roque, you have been together for 32 years, my goodness. Married for 30 of those years. You have one daughter together who's also in her 30s, but a son who passed away in January 2018 at the age of 6. A lot of stakes in the ground in this relationship. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mrs. Roque, what brings us to divorce court today?
I've been with him, for 30 years, and he's cheated on me a lot, and I still think he's cheating on me, and if he is, then he took a lie detector test. If it comes back that he didn't pass, then it's over.
That's a lot to put riding on a lie detector test.
Well, I constantly think it, it's every day. I don't know if I have PTSD over it.
She's obsessing over it.
I obsess over it. I do.
Mr. Roque, you heard what Mrs. Roque said. She thinks that you're cheating, and she doesn't trust you. What do you say, sir?
I'm only here because I'm just tired of her obsessing over this. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't love her. I'm here to prove to her today that I'm not cheating on her.
Well, let's get into it. Mrs. Roque, why don't you take me back to how you met and what actually led us to divorce court today?
The first 10 years of our marriage, we lived the fast life. It was constant, a lot of partying and...
I sold a lot of drugs, too,
yes.
back then in Miami.
Fast life is one thing, but this sounds like a criminal life also.
It was.
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
I mean, y'all look like, some nice middle-aged people who all of a sudden, y'all know how to put on lipstick and get a nice haircut.
That's right.
But y'all were hellions back in the day.
Well, this all started really, I did cheat on her in the beginning when I was younger, but in the past 10 years, it's gotten really, really, really bad. We met at a nightclub to begin with. I cheated on her then, but in the past 10, 15 years, I haven't done anything. But she thinks, I guess because I did before, she's obsessing, and after we lost our son, it got really bad. She's redirecting her energy to be mad at me, I guess, for that. And she just stays mad over cheating.
Let me just go back again. It's one thing to say he cheated on me, he cheated on me, he cheated on me.
He got a girl pregnant.
Oh. Say what, Ms. Roque?
Yeah, he actually moved out of the house and moved in with her.
I never lived with her.
I don't care if you were living with her or not. You got another woman pregnant while you were in the midst of a marriage to this woman right here.
I did. And I'm guilty of that. I told her about it, and she knew about it, and I never saw the girl again.
My notes say you got somebody pregnant in 2000. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that there's a child out there unless...
She never had the baby.
So she decided that they was not going to go forward.
Yeah, because he went to prison.
Okay, so the plot thickens. So there is not a child that was brought into that mess. That's the way we're going to put it. But you say you think he cheated with about 20 women over the course of your marriage?
I do. Yeah, I feel like way more than that.
So I'm not going to make Mr. Roque defend his past behavior. He says that the last, quote, 10, 15 years, he has been walking the straight and narrow. You all did a lot of drugs back in the day, am I correct?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Mr. Roque, are you done with the drug life?
Oh, completely done.
Well, how long have you been sober?
A couple of years.
Okay. What about you, Ms. Roque?
Same.
Are you done with the drug life?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been sober?
About a year and a half.
Okay. During this last 5 years, Mr. Roque, have you been faithful to your wife?
Absolutely. And she thinks I haven't. She just obsesses every single day, every hour of the day, checking my phone, checking who calls me, and just it creates a big arguments all the time, constantly.
Ms. Roque, you don't believe him, do you?
No.
So give me a specific that makes me agree with you.
I was in my room, and I heard this noise. It's like somebody having sex. So it was in the backyard. I walk in the back, and I was getting closer and closer to it, and I said, "What is that noise?" And him and the neighbor lady pop out of the shed. They jump over the fence, and they ran. And I couldn't get out of the fence to go run after them because it was stuck. He runs back from her house and opens the fence for me and tells me that that didn't happen. I dreamt it or something, or hallucinated or something like.
I need to prove to her that is not true.
It is so. I saw it with my own eyes.
She was seeing things. She was hallucinating or something because I did not touch the fence.
Okay, wait a minute, Mr. Roque. Did you or did you not come out of the shed on your property with the neighbor lady? That's it.
No.
You did not.
Nope. I'm here to prove it that I did.
Did you come out of the shed with any woman at all?
Never. If I was single, I wish I could have, but.
He did.
You know,
He did. I've caught you talking to her on the phone.
I don't even talk to her. I know her husband. We're good friends. I don't even never talk to her.
Well, you're not going to be too many good friends after he hears this transcript where you already digging on his wife. I'm telling you that right now. You just told the whole world that if you could get with her, you would. That's what I heard. Did it happen or not, Mr. Roque?
Didn't do it.
It's clear that you don't trust him.
No, I don't. Not at all.
Because of that one incident 30 years ago.
That's not the only reason. Oh, my God. There's so many.
It only started really bad after we lost our son.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you mean you lost your son?
He passed away to the rabies virus. He got scratched by a bat.
He got scratched by a bat.
Yeah.
We found a bat, got it in the woods. And my son, he loved animals so much. He had all kinds of animals. So I told him, don't touch the bat. Him and his friend were looking at it. And he never told me, you know, you want to believe your son. And I said, did you ever touch him? He said, no. I said, it's a pet, but it's dangerous. He said, okay, Daddy.
How old was your child?
7 years old. So he got scratched. And we didn't know that he did get scratched.
I'd like to ask somebody to join us who might be able to help you.
We can't feel guilty about what we could have done, should have done. But I will tell you, you have to get yourself together. A lot of different things with infidelity, cheating, who cares? We get one life. You have to take that one life and do the best that you can do at it, by all means necessary. If you don't do it for yourself, you owe it to your son.
Thank you.
Your son didn't tell you that he got scratched by the bat?
No, he didn't even tell me he touched it. He didn't even tell me that. So a week later, he had a little twitch on his arm. I said, what's wrong? And I didn't even think about that. Took him to the best hospital in Orlando. They asked me a question, and I couldn't think of anything. And then finally, I said, well, we did have a bat in the house. They said, oh, my God. So they asked me if he was perfect. They asked me if they could put him under a induced coma. And I said, that's what it has to be. And I told him, I'll be right here when you wake up. Because he was scared. And he never came out of it. Coma. Never came out of the coma.
There's
So, thank you.
no trauma like this.
Nothing worked. They're trying to stop the virus from going to his brain, and they couldn't. Because they didn't have the ability there. They didn't have... So many people have to die for someone to get cures for... They don't even have a cure for that virus anymore, at all, rather. I knew there was something was going to happen because when he said to me, Daddy, angels are flying around your head. I said, what? And he was perfectly fine. He said, the angels are flying your head, and Grandma's sitting right next to you. And he never even met her. Never met her. It was bizarre, to say the least. And we never got grief counseling either, ever. I think we should have. That was a big mistake.
You didn't think that it would be helpful for you to sit down with somebody who...
I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. I just was so angry.
Reliving it. We don't want.
So
it
angry.
feels like we were reliving it again.
Yeah, right.
Actually, you're never going to get over this horrific trauma, ever. But you can get through it with help.
Yeah.
And you didn't give yourself the opportunity to try to get
We didn't have
through it.
insurance. We didn't have the money.
Well, we could have went through the church, but
Some days it gets worse.
no, I just was very angry, and I just didn't want to talk to anybody about it.
Why were you so angry, ma'am?
Because he was such a great kid. I don't know. I was just so mad at him. I blamed him.
How have you coped? What have you
I
used?
shop, and I go shopping every single day, and I gamble a lot. So I traded one addiction for the other.
Miss Rogue, have you ever spoken to your husband about what's in your heart right now?
No.
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I keep a lot of I keep so much to myself.
You brought this case. Usually, I'm asked all the time, what's the most common denominator in the couples who come to divorce court?
Yes, she.
Somebody wants to be heard.
Yeah.
It's not addiction, it's not cheating. Ma'am, what do you want to say to your husband?
To make me number one, I guess. I just feel like he looks at other one, like it's not me always.
She is.
The
Definitely
two
is.
of you don't have the skill set, and I don't have the skill set to help you with this grief. It is a lot. And I have to tell you, when I find that I need some assistance, I always call in somebody who can help me. So with your permission, I'd like to ask somebody to join us who I can ask some questions who might be able to help you through this process. Is that okay?
Yes.
Corey, would you please ask Dr. Collins to come in for me?
Sure thing.
Mr. Roque, you willingly submitted to a polygraph examination. We asked you, in the last 10 years, have you had any sexual contact with anyone other than Michelle? You said no. The results indicate Dr. Collins and I have done several cases together, and I rely upon her expertise. Dr. Collins, tell them a little bit about your professional background.
For about 20 years, I've been working with individuals with addiction as well as mental health. I'm a grieving mother as well, and I do grief counseling as well.
Dr. Collins, it's fair to say that you lost your own child due to trauma, if I'm correct?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in May. So I extend my condolences to you.
So I actually want to start with the passing of their son. Mrs. Rogue admitted for the first time that she does resent Mr. Rogue. But what advice can you give her at this point?
Well, it's normal to go through different phases. It's 5 different phases when you go through grief. A lot of times it's not always together. It's acceptance, accepting the fact that he's no longer here. You have bargaining, God, take me, or what I could have done better. You have anger, you have depression, and you have denial. So it sounds to me that you're angry and you're putting the blame. But I want you to know that that's not gonna help. It's not gonna bring your son back. One thing I always tell people that I do counseling with, if you live long enough, you're gonna age. And if you're born, you're gonna pass. So unfortunately, that situation has happened, but the key focus is to focus on how you can make your son proud and to not let his life be in vain by the things that you're doing.
That's true.
And by the same token, Mr. Rogue admitted for the first time how guilty he feels. What advice can you give Mr. Rogue to overcome the intense feeling of guilt about the death of his son?
Reflect on the good memories in the moments. We can't feel guilty about what we could have done, should have done, because granted, even with my own personal story, I say, well, I wished I would have done this, or I wished I could have done that. There's no need to beat yourself up. You're an amazing man, but I will tell you, from listening to the things from the back, you have to get yourself together. A lot of different things with infidelity, cheating, who cares? We get one life. You have to take that one life and do the best that you can do at it, by all means necessary. If you don't do it for yourself, you owe it to your son. So let that be your motivation factor to keep striving, to be a better man, and to do what you need to do to make things right.
Thank you.
You know, Dr. Collins, I have to address the pink elephant in the room, which is Mr. and Mrs. Rogue relying on drugs and or some other addictive behavior to cope, because that's all I have heard.
I would strongly suggest that y'all do individual counseling first. They'll work out a treatment plan and a plan to assist you with measurable outcomes to be able to reach your ultimate goal.
Thank you.
Mrs. Rogue, do you agree with Dr. Collins that you would benefit from some individual counseling? And if, in fact, this marriage has any chance, some couples counseling also?
I do.
Mr. Rogue, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Dr. Collins, are you willing to help them put this treatment plan in place so that they can get on the path to recovery and healing?
We're gonna take out the professional hat. It's a personal mission for me. So I would be glad to do that.
If you will open your heart and open your minds to healing, at least I know you will be on the right path. Thank you, Dr. Collins. Thank you so
problem.
very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Mr. Roque, we're going to deal with the addictions. And I don't know how you're going to come out the other side. But the one thing that we did do ahead of time was try to put some of your mistrust to the side. You asked your husband to take a lie detector test. I have those results. Would you like me to read them? Corey, will you retrieve the results? Thank you. Mr. Roque, you willingly submitted to a polygraph examination performed by a certified polygraph examiner from Investigative Solutions. We asked you, have you ever had sexual contact with your female neighbor? You said no. The results indicate you were being truthful. We asked you, in the last 10 years, have you had any sexual contact with anyone other than Michelle? You said no. The results indicate you were being deceptive.
10 years.
We're in a place of healing, Mr. Roque. Is there anything that you'd like to say to your wife?
No, I actually asked him, the polygraph examiner. He only asked me for 2 years. I said, go ahead and ask me for 10.
You have not had any sexual contact?
Nope. The ones that she wanted to really want, what she wants to know is the neighbor lady, the shed, and all that.
Nope,
But I said 10 years.
Nope.
I said 10 years.
That's not what she wants to know.
Yeah.
She wants to know if she can trust you.
She can trust me.
I submitted the questions.
Right.
And you asked them to extend the time to 10 years, and it came back deceptive. And so something says to me that something occurred in those 10 years that made the test come back deceptive. Was there sexual contact with a third party?
Absolutely not.
I'm not going to be able to resolve this, but in order to get through the next few years, alone or together, you're going to have to stay in a recovery. You know that, right, Mrs. Roque?
Yeah, I know.
You have divorce papers in your hand.
I do.
May I have them?
Sure.
You know, you wanted those answers from the neighbor.
Yeah, but you were deceptive.
On the 10 years, I don't even remember what happened 10 years
Well, what does
ago.
that mean? What did I see? And then what?
Ms. Roque, the papers are filled out, but they're not signed.
Right. I don't know.
Would you like me to hold them?
Yes, please hold them. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused.
I believe that your bond and love is strong, but I don't believe your marriage will survive without help. I suggest that you focus less on the marriage and more on individual healing for the next year, and that you start to try to heal
Okay.
from the loss of your precious child. And then at the end of that year, after you've done the necessary work on yourselves individually, then come back together and find out if there's still something there.
Sounds good.
It's at that time then you'll be less confused,
Right.
because you will be approaching it as a whole human being. Do you agree with me,
I
Ms.
agree.
Roque? Mm-hmm. Ms. Roque, do you agree with me?
Yes, I do.
We're done here. You have my verdict.
Thank you.
Why do you think I asked him for 10? I didn't have to do 10.
I know, but who's the thing
I
you're
don't
dealing
know.
with? Who is it?
I don't even know. 10 years ago?
No.
I don't
from
know.
10 to now.
Baby, I don't know.
You
I
know you
asked
cheated.
him to do
Probably
10.
Kristen.
I asked him to do
All right.
10.
I know you cheated on me with
I
somebody.
know. I did not.
Yes, you did.
But let's just heal.
Yeah, you
Let's
did.
just heal. Concentrate on healing, not that.
I want to know who you
not
cheated
that
on me
stuff.
with.
Okay. I don't know.
Made in Georgia. Mrs. Little says Mr. Harris's lies, anger, and disappearing acts have her ready to walk out that door. Can he stop her? Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding.
Hello, everyone. Hello. You may be seated.
Your Honor, the case of Little versus Harris.
Thank you very much. Ms. Little, Mr. Harris.
How you doing?
I'm glad to have you here in divorce court, and thank you for trusting me with your relationship. I understand you all have been together for 18 years.
Yes, ma'am.
You did, in fact, have a spiritual wedding in 2012. Although you are not legally married, you consider yourself a couple. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have 3 children together, ages 10, 12, and 17. Plus, Miss Little, you actually have another child.
Yes, Your Honor.
So this is a family that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And there's
Yes,
some
Your
real
Honor.
stakes in the ground. Let's find out why we're in divorce court, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'm here because Antonio is a liar, he's disrespectful, and he has anger issues. And he's proven time after time that he's not going to change, and I'm just over it. I want a divorce.
At 18 years in, you are ready to be done if there's not going to be a major change. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'm going to turn to Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, what do you say in response to what your wife has said?
I want to save my relationship. We've been together for 18 years. I don't want to see 18 years go down the drain, and I definitely don't want my children raised in a broken home.
So then that means we need to be solution-oriented to see if there's something still here. Why don't you take me back, Miss Little? You met a while ago. You figured it out for all these years. What got us to divorce court, ma'am?
Your Honor, I met Antonio when I was a teenager working in a restaurant, and what I loved about him was, you know, his smile. He has great energy. He has, he's very family-oriented. I love the way he took to my oldest daughter. But what changed was when I noticed his anger issues. And
what do you mean when you say anger issues? What has occurred?
it started during the pandemic a few years ago, and I noticed when I tried to have conversations with him that he didn't want to communicate about, he would just get very angry and, you know, dismiss the whole conversation.
How did it manifest itself when he would be angry?
Your Honor, there was this one time where his friend came to live with us for a few weeks, and I sat him down because it was time to pay bills.
So wait one second, this friend, are we talking about a male or a female?
It was a male.
And came to stay in your home, your family home?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so that I can put it in perspective, how's your home set up? How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many floors, etc.?
Okay, it was a 6-bedroom home. It was 3 floors because there was a basement. So
yes,
the whole.
ma'am. And where was this third party staying?
He was in the basement.
Okay. And so it was supposed to be sort of a little separate area. How long was this extended visit gonna take?
He told me the friend was gonna be there for a couple months.
Wow.
He wasn't supposed to be there for no couple months. It was just a couple weeks he was supposed to be there for, Your Honor. And also, it was a time where he helped me where I needed his help.
I understand.
And I stayed with him. And it's also been a time where he's helped my family as well.
So you were reciprocating is what you're telling me.
That's it, Your Honor.
Okay, so did you talk to your wife about what that was going to look like?
Yes, ma'am, I discussed with her.
Okay.
He was only there for 2 days till she asked for some rent money.
Okay.
2 days, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
I'm listening.
His friend was there for almost a week when I brought the conversation up to him.
But wait, did you bring the conversation up to the man or to your husband?
To my husband.
Okay.
I had a conversation with him that the bills are approaching. And although I'm supporting you, you know, and your mishaps, your friend is a grown man. And I told him, I said, is your friend gonna be, you know, contributing to this house that he's staying in?
Okay, so who was paying the bills in the house?
Me.
Okay.
That month that I questioned him about his friend contributing to the bills was my month to take on everything because
so you all do opposites. Y'all, 1 month you might take it, the next month he might take it?
No, Your Honor. It was that he had exhausted all of his funds to get us into the place.
Got it.
So I was supporting him and taking over things until he got his stuff together. In the midst of this, his friend came to live with us for a few weeks. Now, me, I feel as though, you know, any man that's in the house should be helping to provide.
I 100% agree.
So I had a conversation with him like, is your friend going to contribute?
I think that's a legitimate conversation to have.
There was nothing wrong with having that conversation, and I discussed with her. I explained to her, I said, listen, Give him a few weeks. Give him a few weeks, or I'm gonna take up his slack. Once I get myself together, he going through some tough times right now.
But wait a minute. I want to be clear, Mr. Harris. You had to get yourself together.
Yes.
But were you expecting her to take on the responsibility and the role of yet another grown man? I just want to be clear on what your expectation was.
I mean, I didn't look at it like that, Your Honor.
So because of this conversation that I had with him, he told me he was going to go talk to the friend. So I followed up with the conversation. In the midst of the conversation, he got so angry with me, he started a full-blown argument saying how this friend helped me when I needed him and I stayed at his girlfriend's house. I'm like, okay, this girl stay in the projects. Like, she don't pay any rent. The government helps her. Like, you know, like this is hard-earned money and we out here in this real world. So I don't want to hear how that girlfriend helped you, because this is not that situation. She's living for free.
Yes.
Okay? So he got so angry and he left the house and again, you know, disappeared, angry. And that's just another issue that I have with him. When I'm trying to communicate, you know, he just...
Mr. Harris, I think
out.
that was a legitimate conversation to have. I can guarantee it was probably not as soft and as kind as it is here in this courtroom. However, it legitimately was a conversation that should have been had.
I sat him down in a great tone and had this conversation with him. That's what pissed me off about the conversation.
But I don't understand. If you all had this conversation, why did we have to revisit it?
Why bring it up again?
2 weeks
because
later?
Now the bills are due. I want to know,
even 2 weeks later,
did you talk to your friend? You know, he got so angry. He got so angry and so loud. The friend knew that we were having this conversation. So the friend leaves out the door. He leaves behind the friend. He's gone for a few weeks.
What? And so you actually are holding down the household at that point?
Yes, ma'am.
You use language towards each other.
Yes, he called me a hoe.
Excuse me?
Yes, Your Honor. He called me a hoe in front of my friend. He called me all kinds of names in front of her.
What is her friend? She's a hoe, Your Honor.
My friend
Birds
is
of
not
a
a
feather
whore.
wet.
So you don't like this lady is what you're
I don't
telling
like
me.
that lady and I don't like the other lady. Your Honor, they whore.
Tell me a little bit about this lying. Why you say he's a liar?
With the situation with the phone, he had another phone that the kids would play games on. The kids came in and left the phone on the bed. I see notifications popping up on the phone, so I tap it. He's asking some woman, can he take her to brunch?
As if you never went to brunch with
So again,
a male
he
friend.
is a liar. He's supposed to be out of town visiting family, and he's asking some woman, can he take her to brunch?
Your Honor,
I asked him about it, and he just dismissed it again. You know, he acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. And because he wasn't presently there when I asked him, you know, he never really faced it.
I'm listening, Mr. Harris.
Your Honor, there's times where we're not seeing eye to eye, and I needed someone to vent to or talk to. She's been through these same situations and been out with
The girl tells
male
him that
friends.
she has a man.
This somebody that I knew from childhood. If she reading the texts, we went to school together.
Mr. Harris, I'm just wondering, what were your intentions in asking this lady to go to brunch?
I needed someone to talk to, someone to vent to about the situations I was going through.
And what was her response, the woman?
Her response was, I
have a man.
have a man. She got a man. She don't want to go out. She don't
And in
feel
the messages, she's told him that before. So it's
She don't
not
feel
given
comfortable.
that she is even receptive of you venting to her.
That usually means if the woman responds, I already have a man, that means she's trying to be respectful of her relationship, but she's also feeling that this is not just about her.
Exactly.
Her being a sounding board.
Exactly.
It's about you trying to step out on your relationship and to
She'd have
use
been
her.
there multiple times for me to talk to, Your Honor, about situations with my wife.
He's a liar, and Your Honor, he is very, very disrespectful. There was this one occasion where my friend came into town for us to go to a concert. We go to the concert, and when we leave the concert, we want to go get some food. But it's very cold, so she asks him, can he bring her coat? So, and when I get outside, he asks us, like, where's the food? I'm like, the kitchen is closed. That's why we're leaving.
That's all
with
you said. The kitchen is closed.
He's asking me, like, where's his food? I didn't even get any food. The kitchen is closed. That's why
Nah,
we're
the
leaving.
effing kitchen
When
is
we
closed.
Get in,
You
and
all
I'm
don't know
like,
how
what?
to talk to each other. I could just see that. That's what it is. Y'all don't know how to talk to each other. You use language towards each other.
Yes, he
that's
called me a
unkind.
hoe.
Excuse me?
Yes, Your Honor. He called me a hoe in front of my friend. He called me all kinds of names in front of her. And when we got home, it just continued all throughout the night. It was already about 2, 3 a.m. in the morning.
Mr. Harris, come on, what's this
Woke the
about?
kids
Your Honor,
up.
ask her, what is her friend? She's a hoe, Your Honor.
My friend
Birds
is
of
not
a
a
feather
whore.
wet. flock together.
That has nothing to do with it.
Excuse me, are you trying to suggest that the friend that she was hanging out with is literally a prostitute?
I'm not saying she's a prostitute because I know what she do with her body, but I know from the conversations on the phone.
So you don't like this lady is what you're telling me?
I don't like that lady and I don't like the other lady. Your Honor, they whores. What you hanging around a whore for? Then your excuse is, what they do ain't got nothing to do with me?
Absolutely. Like, I like her as a friend.
I'm sorry. You hang around with somebody who doesn't have a home and needs you to be their backup. So,
absolutely.
Birds of a feather flock together. I'm just wondering why the two of you can't figure out how to be nice to each other.
He's so disrespectful. This man called me a in front of my daughter. Like, he's disrespectful. You can't communicate with him.
No, I said you acting like a I didn't call her a
He is lying. He calls me all kinds of names. He's very disrespectful. That night,
Mr. Harris, why would you call the woman you say you've been with for 18 years out of her name, especially in front of daughters?
Your Honor, my daughter wasn't even right there. It was me and her talking.
Your Honor, I'll tell you why. Antonio got very upset because, you know, his disrespect and his anger issues lead to...
She won't have sex with me for 3 months.
Absolutely. It leads to me not wanting him to touch me. So, of course, he gets angrier.
I got a witness. Her friend would tell you how good of a man I am.
Tell me what you've witnessed in their marriage.
Antonio is a great man. He works. He's hardworking. So,
Come on,
yeah.
Your Honor, I can't be that bad of a guy.
If she thinks he's such a good man, maybe she should take him. He gets very angry and he starts rambling through the house, you know, trying to get all of his stuff that you probably don't even want. He just wants to tear the house up. So I start recording him. He comes towards me to knock the phone out of my hand and he's calling me names. That's when he called me the in front of my daughter.
So here's the problem. I hate the fact that all of this is happening in front of a teenage girl. I really do. Because how old is your daughter?
She's 10.
A tweenage girl. She's 10. So right now, she's forming her opinion of how she as a young woman is supposed to be treated, and she's forming her opinion on how a partner will be allowed to treat her. That is what's happening right now.
Your Honor, I got a witness. Her friend would tell you how good of a man I am.
There is a witness. The defendant has asked me to hear from this witness. I'd like to hear from the witness. Will you please ask the witness to join us?
Sure.
Hello, ma'am. Welcome to Divorce Court. Can you please tell me your name and what your relationship is to the plaintiff and the defendant?
My name is Andrea Dalmeida. I have known Latrice for some years, and I met Antonio through Latrice.
Miss Little was your friend first, am I correct?
That is correct.
And the two of them have become your mutual friend, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you married?
I'm in a very complicated situation.
You're not married. Okay. You're not married. Okay.
No.
So tell me what you've witnessed in their marriage.
I will start off by saying Antonio is a great man. Okay.
Based on?
Based on, he's a really good father.
Based on?
He's really involved with the kids. He sits home and babysits while we go out.
Keep
going.
These kids are old enough to watch
Hold on, let her go. Keep going.
He does buy her really nice things. He takes her out frequently. And he works. He's hardworking. So,
Come on, Your Honor, I can't be that bad of a guy.
If she thinks he's such a good man, maybe she should take him.
No, I got my own. I don't want him. He's yours.
You hear the answer? You heard the answer?
Yeah, because honestly, I have to say something that I learned a while ago from my auntie in the Bahamas. Loose goat don't know how tied goat feel. It just means when you're not in the marriage, you don't know what's going on in the
I've
actual
been married
marriage.
before.
No, I'm talking about their marriage. You started out by, when you introduced yourself, saying you're in a, quote, complicated situation, because I don't know what's in your relationship any more than you know what happens in their actual relationship.
Right.
You see what I mean? So I turn to, in this relationship, that's why I asked you what you had witnessed, what you had seen when you say somebody is a good man. I'm talking about character? What have you witnessed in terms of Mr. Harris's character that would lead you to believe that?
Okay, well, I would say Mr. Harris is really misunderstood. I am from an African background, and I would say communication really plays a major role in their relationship. I believe both parties need to work on communication.
I believe she should mind her business.
Well, you put me in your business, so I can't mind my business.
So are you suggesting that the plaintiff has shared things with you?
About how he makes me feel. Like you said, his character and how he makes me feel. I don't like the way he makes me feel. It's like an up and down, you know, emotionally with him.
I've been in situations with them that both parties were not very nice to each other.
I've been in situations with them where both parties are not very nice to each other. And I've known them 20 minutes. I can tell you right now that kindness needs to come back into this relationship.
That is true.
100%. I can tell you right now that they need to learn communication skills.
I agree. Like I said, I believe that both people can be up here. Somebody has to be down here.
And normally it's me. And I thought the quote was, you know, happy wife, happy life. But why am I always walking on eggshells so that he doesn't snap out?
But as a woman, I feel like there are ways to communicate with a man. You have to listen. You can't fight fire with fire.
Not for nothing, Miss Dalmeda. You got some pretty old-fashioned ideas of what role a woman takes. In a marriage, it's a partnership.
It is.
Always a partnership.
Of course.
And only the two people that are in the marriage can figure out what works in their marriage. There's some marriages where the woman takes the more dominant role. There's some marriages where man takes the more dominant role. There's some marriages where they take equal roles. All of those are valid relationships when they're between the two people that are in them. Thank you for your assistance today.
Thank you.
I don't want to be dismissive of anybody's opinion. The only opinion that really matters about this relationship is the two of you. And the only thing that's going to solve the conflicts is if the two of you put the work in, period. You have to first learn to speak to each other and not speak to a third party. Lottie-dottie and everybody doesn't need to be in your business. There are people who get paid to be in your business. They are called family therapists, and they are good at what they do. They really are good at what they do. And they don't come from a cultural bias. They come from a solution-oriented, therapeutic perspective. They want to make sure that relationships are healthy so that you could be living examples for your children. That is really what family therapy is about. I asked you earlier, would you be committed to making an effort?
Your Honor, I am done. I don't want to put the work in because I feel like I've put years of work in. And Antonio has showed me time after time that he is going to continue to be who he is.
Mr. Harris, at some point, relationships run their course. And I know you said you wanted to fight for your family.
Yes, ma'am.
But you can only disappoint a woman so many times. And then that woman says, enough is enough. And that's what I just heard. Am I correct, Miss Little?
Yes, Your Honor. I just feel as though I'm losing my belief, you know, that he can become a better person because every time I give him another chance, he just shows me that this is who he is. And he blames it on how he was brought up, you know, his family and things that he went through. And it's like, I don't want to keep hearing that.
What would you need to hear to give it another chance?
I don't want to hear anything. I think that he should just get some help, you know? If we didn't work, I still believe that he should get some help so that he can become a better, you know, father to his children, a better man for himself,
it sounds
and
like
a better man for somebody else.
This young lady just said to me, there is nothing that you can say or do to get back in her good graces. If that is true, then it's time for somebody to put their pictures and their plants in a box and keep it moving. That's my verdict.
Made in Georgia. Mr. Stewart says he wants to get married, but his fiancée says it's just a piece of paper. Now he's giving her an ultimatum. Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding.
Your Honor, the case of Stewart v. Langley.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Mr. Stewart, Miss Langley, thank you very much for joining me today. Mr. Stewart and Miss Langley, you've been together for 3 years. You've lived together for 1.5 years. You just purchased a home together, engaged for 1 year, and your anniversary is coming up. So, although you have no children together, this house has become like your child. Everybody has some stakes in the ground. Why don't you tell me, Mr. Stewart, what brings us to divorce court today?
Your Honor, I'm here today because I'm giving my fiancée, Sam, an ultimatum.
Okay.
She needs to step up and get ready to get married. We need to address some flaws in her characteristics, or we're putting the house back on the market. She is inconsiderate, she is irresponsible, and there are a lot of things that she does that's just an absolute deal breaker in my case.
Okay, Mr. Stewart has laid out his case. Miss Langley, what do you say?
Your Honor, I'm here to save our relationship because, you know, we can work this out, and I have put my life savings into this house. You know, I'm not moving anywhere, and, you know, we don't need a piece of paper to validate our love.
Well, you needed a piece of paper to validate the house, okay? It's funny how y'all put the cart before the horse. Mr. Stewart, take me back to how you all first met. What made you get together?
Well, Your Honor, we met about 5 years ago. We went on a date to an ice skating rink. I thought things were going great, so I just let the night proceed. I reached out to her for a second date. She wasn't interested, so we went our separate ways.
Interesting.
2 years later, we met on a different dating website. Turns out this time we had a lot more in common. We were both nerds. We love playing D&D. We like going on adventures.
What's D&D?
It's Dungeons and Dragons, Your Honor.
Hit me, I like that. Listen, my husband and I watch Forensic Files every single night, okay? We're 2 criminal lawyers, okay?
Yes.
So I got you, D&D works for me, okay?
So, we love playing D&D, we love going on adventures, we love watching anime together, and we love going to character conventions.
Do you dress up?
She dresses up. She tries to get me to dress up. I'm a little more hesitant about it. I just like to go and watch.
Okay. So you do have things in common.
We have a lot of things in common.
You fell in love pretty quickly, as my notes say.
It was very fast. You know, I knew that I wanted to make her my wife by, like, the end of the 4th date.
But that was after a 2-year hiatus, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we didn't realize who we were whenever we went on that second date. We had forgotten about each other, and we didn't realize we had been on a date before. So then we ended up going on another date, and we didn't realize it was the same people until like 4 dates in.
Okay, Miss Langley, not to put too fine a point on it, but was he that not memorable that you can't remember that you went on a date with him?
He didn't remember me either, so neither one of us remembered the. At the time, I was just dating for fun. I had like 4 or 5 dates a week. If I made it to the 3rd date, then I might learn their name, but beside that, no.
So I'm interested. So you were a bit of a serial dater, which is not a problem. You're a young person. Y'all are supposed to just be having fun as long as you're being safe and not, you know,
right,
being, you know, irresponsible. So that's fine.
Neither one of us remembered each other. So, you know, but the big thing for me was that whenever we first got together, on that first date, he was talking about how he wanted to try going skydiving. So I was like, okay, you know, cool, we're gonna go skydiving. And I can actually submit this photo here of the 2 of us skydiving.
Wow. Oh, you did the tandem skydiving?
Yes, so yeah, we were about 10,000 feet up in the air whenever we jumped out of the plane. So, you know, apparently he just didn't want to chicken out in front of me that early in the relationship. So he kind of got forced into it. But he was willing to do it with me. We had a great time. And that was kind of whenever we first started telling people that, you know, we were in a relationship.
Which I like that very much. How did it go from you figuring out what she needed to make it work to us getting to a point where you say there's some deal breakers and we're in divorce court?
Well, Your Honor, everything kind of changed when we finally bought the house and started moving in together.
Why did you buy this house?
Your Honor, it's always been one thing that I wanted. I came from a very traditional family. My parents were married, they had a house, we had a place to live, we called it a home. There were so many memories built there, and that's something that I wanted not only for myself, but I wanted to share this experience with Sam as well.
Okay, but I understand you all had real conversations about what you saw as your future together. Did you discuss marriage?
We did discuss marriage, Your Honor. We discussed that we would like to get married in the future. However, we made it clear that kids were off the table, as neither of us were quite interested in that.
Okay, so you had real discussions about what you wanted your relationship to be. Did you talk about a timeline when it came to marriage?
We did not talk about timeline when it came to marriage, but we did discuss like what kind of vendor we would want. I'm more of a traditionalist. I wanted something, you know, nice, something a little.
He won't let me have the wedding that I want.
And Your Honor, as she mentioned, she does not. Her ideal wedding is going to be in a bowling alley or an arcade, which makes me think that she thinks the entire concept of marriage is nothing but a game.
Did you all have this part of the conversation ahead of time? Because, you know...
We did, but like then he was like, oh, you know, it'll be fine, until all of a sudden he's like, no, it's not fine. And I'm like, but then why'd you tell me that it was fine?
So you told her that it didn't matter where you got married, that you wanted to ultimately be married. Is that what you said?
I told her that I wanted to get married and that we would pick out a place that was suitable for the both of us.
Oh, it sounds like you parsed your words.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I want someplace that's fun because neither one of our families really dance, right? So, you know, we wanted to, you know, have someplace that was fun, that was active, and, you know, I just really see it as a piece of paper. It's not important, like, it's not a big thing to make a big deal out of. It's a piece of paper, and he wants me to wear a ring, and I will not keep up with a ring. Like, I will lose that ring if he gives it to me.
There's a reason why you all didn't have that second date initially. Because y'all don't have the same concept of what you want. And there's nothing wrong with what either one of you want. Mr. Stewart, you came to court today in a tie.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Langley, you came to court in a unicorn dress.
It's what I wear to work.
By the way, I love a unicorn dress, okay? That's not a problem. But the point is, are you able to be compatible with each other?
When I come home, my first thought is I get to spend time with her.
It's boring. Like, I want to go out and have fun and excitement.
That's the most wonderful thing that a partner can say about another partner.
No,
and you couldn't even shut up for being whimsical for 2 minutes and acknowledge what the brother just said. Mr. Stewart, so clearly you had different ideas of marriage. I'm going to say 100%, so you know my bias walking in the door, Miss Langley. A lot of people treat it as a piece of paper. I treat it as a foundation for building something solid and long-standing. I love my husband more than I love air. I'm telling you, I feel so good and safe with him. He takes good care of me. What do you love about Mr. Stewart?
I mean, I love the fact that he has kind of that stable aspect because, you know, I lose things and I'm not the most stable person in the world. So sometimes
you're not the most
stable person in the world.
But he still loves you.
Your Honor,
but he draws me back in sometimes that I need that.
She loses everything. I keep up with her keys, I keep up with her phone, I keep up with her purse. The moment she sets something down, it doesn't exist.
But Mr. Stewart, why do you love her?
I love so many things about her. She's adventurous. She's a little wild. She drives me crazy with a single look. She's the type of person that when I come home, my first thought is I get to spend time with her.
That may be the single nicest thing I've heard in divorce court. Very few people, I beg your pardon?
It's boring. Like, I want to go out and have fun and excitement, you know?
You hear this, Your Honor? She wants to go out and have fun and
First time this year. You get the spin. Did you just say that's boring?
Yes.
You lucky. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. If I knew a nice girl that enjoyed anime and D&D, I would introduce her to Mr. Stewart. Because this is a nice man right here.
He's very nice.
Okay, but why would you insult him? Excuse me. Why would you insult him in front of people and say he's boring? This is a man who has proclaimed his love and said the very first thing he thinks about is spending time with you. That's the kindest, sexiest, most wonderful thing that a partner could say about another partner. I don't want to be with anybody else. I just want to be with my partner. That's what the man just said. And you couldn't even shut up for being whimsical for 2 minutes and acknowledge what the brother just said. Okay? And you wonder why you in divorce court. Acknowledge what the brother just said.
I do appreciate it, I do. But, you know, to me, love should be something passionate and exciting and fun. And, you know, I know that he's saying that he kind of bought the house and he put the main down, but I bought everything in the house. So I bought the refrigerator, I bought the furniture, I bought everything else that, you know, I don't even get credit for because it's not the house.
Your Honor, she may have bought everything inside of the house, but that's about as far as it goes. When I come home every day, things are excluded. She doesn't live up to what we would consider wifely duties.
Oh, no, I try to live up to wifely duties.
I come home, all the cabinets are open, the house doesn't look like it's been taken care of at all. There's not even food being prepared.
Miss Langley, Mr. Stewart, this is a bias that this judge is going to say to you. You can't expect wifely duties from a girlfriend. She's not your wife. You need to consider whether or not she's gonna be your wife.
I went to him and I was like, hey, I really want to paint downstairs. I asked him, hey, can you look at this color? I got done and he told me that the wall looks like baby diarrhea.
She didn't tell me that she was going to paint a mural and it looks like a poop yellow.
You told me to do what I wanted.
So you like the whimsy until you don't like the whimsy, Mrs. Stewart? Now, I know, Miss Langley, you say that the marriage is only a piece of paper, but the paper that you all signed combined a financial obligation.
Right.
Okay? So he may have put down the down payment, as I understand, about $20,000.
$20,000 on a $300,000 house, Your Honor.
Okay. And Miss Langley, I know that you put in time, toil, effort, decorations, so pretty much the equivalent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I mean,
in terms of what's inside the house. Is that fair,
Correct.
Mr. Stewart?
That is fair.
So it's really the house together that you all have built.
Oh, no, it is, but he's even accusing me of ruining the house, you know, and it's been like a whole thing. We have white walls. I'm sorry, but white walls are boring, right? So I'm gonna submit into evidence this picture of our basement that I did, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
So me and my friend, we went through and we painted up the castle, we painted the walls.
That's kind of cute.
Everything, yeah, I love it,
I think it's really cute.
So I went to him and I was like, hey, I really want to paint downstairs. I asked him, hey, can you look at this color? And he told me, yeah, the color was down there. I got done and he told me that the wall looks like baby diarrhea and that, you know, it's so ugly and he doesn't even want to spend any time down there after that.
It almost looks like the dragons from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, right, it's cute, right?
I think that is really special.
He called it ugly,
when
he
she
said it
told
was
me
like
that she was
baby
going
diarrhea.
to paint, when she told me that she was going to paint, she said that she was going to paint the wall. She didn't tell me that she was going to paint a mural or some kind of exotic masterpiece.
You told me to do what I wanted.
I told her that she could paint the wall and then come back and it looks like a poop yellow. It's obviously not the greatest color out there. This was not something that I actually agreed with.
But Mr. Stewart, if you tell your partner that he or she can paint the basement, because that's where there's gonna be fun, then you can't come back on Tuesday and say, I don't like the color that you painted if you did not get involved.
I just let her run with her creativity and my expectations.
So you like the whimsy until you don't like the whimsy, Mr. Stewart? You understand what I'm saying? All the stuff that you fell in love with, Miss Langley still is. She was irresponsible. She was whimsical. Y'all didn't barely remembered each other, okay? So you fell in love with this whimsical unicorn dress wearing chick with the wild, fun, curly hair. You fell in love with that. That's exactly what I see in front of me. Now, mind you, I might want a more traditional, straight-haired chick that's sitting up in here in a blue basic dress. But if that's what you want, then this was never going to be this young lady. Miss Langley was always gonna be the chick in the unicorn. That's it, always. She's not moving out of who she is. You might have to move out of that house, though, because y'all bought it together. And that's your decision, Mr. Stewart. Can you live with Miss Unicorn?
Your Honor, I can do my best to live with her, but there are some flaws that I would at least like to try and work on.
Tell her what you need from her.
I need for you to be more financially conscious. I need for you to actually take time to realize that this is a house that we're building together. I need for you to...
You are always nagging me, though, about fixing these things. And whenever I try, or whenever I'm like, no, that's the way it is, you don't listen. So what do you want me to do here?
I'm telling you what I want you to do. And I'm telling you what we need to try and address.
No, you
But
have an
don't want to
idealized
work
view
on
of what you want, but whenever I'm like, okay, well, what do you want me to fix, or how do you want me to fix it? You're like, I don't know. I can't do anything with an I don't know. Bottom line, I'm not getting married and I'm not moving out.
Mr. Stewart, I hear you brought some paperwork.
That is correct, Your Honor. I have here a petition for the property. It's part of the ultimatum. It's either we're going to seal the deal and finally get married, or we're putting it back on the market.
And I go to the source. Joint property ownership when one party wants to sell. The law allows any co-owner to fracture the joint ownership via a partition action. Something tells me that's what you brought to court.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I'm not selling nothing, okay? Like, he can try this, I will fight him in court, and I know for a fact that it'll take him months to be able to figure this out. And in that time, you know, he's probably gonna end up changing his mind anyway.
There's no changing my mind. The house was supposed to come with marriage, and if marriage is off the table, then she doesn't get part of the house.
Why you would want to marry anybody that just told you she married you for this house is a foreign subject to me. Sir, do you want me to serve those papers on her? It doesn't matter to me one way or the other, because you're going to fight this lady to get her out of your house. And your house, because this is both of your house, you spent too much time worrying about trying to set up a traditional relationship without assessing whether or not the partner you were picking was the right partner for you. And you, Miss Langley, you worked out your fantasy. You got the house that you wanted, that you now no longer have to be a renter and just hang out with your friends. You used him as much as he used you. You probably both do belong together, because I don't see relationship here. I see controlling and I see manipulation. And that makes me very, very disappointed. You want me to serve the papers?
You can serve the papers, Your Honor.
Will you retrieve the papers for me?
Sure.
It'll take months, though. You're not gonna get what you want out of this.
Got nothing but time.
Well, they're filled out. Petition for partition.
I invested my life savings in this house. Like, seriously?
He invested his feelings in this relationship. And the fact that all you're doing is talking about the loss of a house when I'm about to serve a document that says your relationship is over says a lot more to me. You may be controlling, but you're manipulative. Please serve the papers.
Sure.
I'm not selling.
You've been served.
Okay.
You don't have to sell. He can sell. Mr. Stewart, I'm disappointed in the two of you. You all took 2 years hiatus in between your first and your second date. Probably should have taken a little bit longer. We're done here. That's my verdict.
I'm not selling this place.
I'm selling the place.
Well, you're gonna have to fight me in court, and I will find a way to appeal.
Like I said, I got nothing but time. This is my house.
Bring it on. You're always so impatient with everything that I do. You'll change your mind by the end of it.
I will not change my mind. This is my house. This is my future. This is what I'm getting.
It's my future, too, and I'm gonna make sure that we don't sell.
You're not selling. Those are mine. You've
Bring
already signed it.
on.
It's done.
Whatever.
Made in Georgia. Ms. Collins says that hotel receipts and missing money can only mean one thing, that Miss Chandler is cheating on her. Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding.
Hello, everyone. You may be seated.
Your Honor, the case of Collins v. Chandler.
Thank you very much. Ms. Collins, Ms. Chandler, welcome to Divorce Court. I'm glad to have all of you join me here today. Today we're looking at a case where there's a secret that is threatening to tear this couple apart, and we're going to get to the bottom of it today. This is the case of Collins v. Chandler. Ladies, you've been together for 4 years, engaged for a year, as I understand it, and you're still living together. Although there are other children, you all don't share children. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so let me get into this. Ms. Collins, why don't you start me out? Why are we here in court?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm here because Robin is a liar. She's a manipulator, and I also feel like she has a secret lover. And if she does, then the engagement and everything is off.
So you came in here to get answers today?
Yes, ma'am, to get answers.
I'm going to turn to you, Ms. Chandler. What's going on?
She is super jealous, and all of that is a lie.
So you say she's making all these allegations up?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then we're going to get to the bottom of it today. Why don't you take me back, Ms. Collins? How did you all meet? And what has led to us ending up in divorce court today?
Yes, ma'am. So me and Robin met on a job site. Her and her family needed somewhere to stay, so I opened up my home to her. We became friends really quickly, hanging out, you know.
When you say she and her family needed a place to stay, she had children?
Yes, ma'am.
And she did not have a place of her own?
Yes, ma'am, at the time, yes, ma'am.
And so did you offer them a place as a roommate or as a lover?
As a roommate.
Okay, and was that your understanding, Ms. Chandler, at the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you offered Ms. Chandler a place to stay, tell me about how that came to be.
Yes, we became friends really quickly. Again, we was hanging out, and I started to catch feelings for her. I felt like she was a very beautiful woman, funny, spontaneous. We would go on, you know, friend dates and stuff like that. So this one day, I expressed my feelings to her, and to my surprise, you know, she felt the same way. Again, moving forward, I asked her to be my fiance. I proposed to her on the beach. It was very beautiful. And that's how we met.
So, Ms. Chandler, sounds like you all found each other at a time where you were both looking to see where life was going to lead you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you agree with Ms. Collins that a friendship grew into love?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in my notes, Ms. Collins, it says this is the first time you have had an intimate relationship with a person of the same gender. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what about you, Ms. Chandler?
Yes, Your Honor.
So this was a period of exploration as you found love with each other.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm happy to hear that under normal circumstances, but how did it change, Ms. Collins?
So the first thing was, like I said, we was living together, and I lost my phone in the house. So I'm like, okay, well, let me look around the house and, you know, try to find it, couldn't find it. So I went and got Robin's phone. Instantly, like, she snatched the phone out of my hand, started going all around the house, talking about I can't use her phone. So I'm like, that's very sus. Well, I can use her phone to call my phone. So I waited until she went to sleep. Okay?
And did what lots of people do, Corey. Go through the phone.
So I noticed that she changed her password. So I'm like, okay, that's odd. I took the phone, put it to her face, and then boom, unlocked the phone. I started going through.
Y'all didn't know that you could do that, members of the jury? Oh, yes. And a lot of people take your hand and stick it on the finger so that the finger, you can do it by the finger.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So I started going through her messages, and I realized that she didn't have any. So I'm like, that was a huge red flag. So,
no text messages?
No text messages.
That means those text messages are being erased
deleted.
on purpose.
Right, yes, ma'am. So with the phone, I was able to go through her recently deletes, okay? And then, So in her recently deletes, I found like messages from an unknown number talking about I miss you and when am I gonna see you again? So that was very puzzling to me.
Well, it's very puzzling to me. I'm getting ready to come over here to Miss Chandler. What's that about? And yes, she was sneaky. see. It is an invasion of your privacy. She should not have done it, but she did, and she found out some stuff that she probably didn't want to find out. What's going on, Ms. Chandler?
Your Honor, well, that's on her, because, you know, when you go fishing for something.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Right, but here's the thing. If there are no fish in the sea, you go home hungry, okay?
Yes, Your Honor, that is right.
But the fish were clearly in the sea. So I'm going to ask you not to deflect and to answer the questions. What were these text messages about?
Your Honor, them text messages were harmless. They were between me and a friend of mine. Very harmless. Very harmless.
Talking about I miss you when I'm gonna see you again. That's not harmless.
It's not harmless at all.
Okay.
It's me and my friend. We've had that relationship going before you even
Well,
came to
that
take
relationship
pictures.
seems a little intimate. Was it intimate?
No, Your Honor. That's how me and my friend plays. It's nothing intimate
I
at
don't
all.
play like that with my friends. Very respectful.
Oh, well, that's you.
Okay.
Well, clearly, you all have a different interaction with friends.
Yes.
And the respect for each other does not seem to be mutual. It
Right.
seems to be a lot of attitude.
Yeah, I don't know why she feels like that, but it was another time, right? So I wanted to do something, you know, special for us. So I'm like, okay, let me go see what our account looking like so I can do something special. Go to the account, I seen that it was $1,500 transferred from our account to her phone, okay? So then I started asking her, so what's up with the money? Why is it missing? Oh, well, I went to go gamble. Okay, well, if you was gambling, why wasn't it cash taken out? And also, I submitted the evidence to the court as well.
I want to see what you're talking about
Yeah.
so that I understand the facts of the case.
Pull that up.
So I see a $1,500 transaction that was sent. Just so we get some background. You have your own personal account, she has her own personal account, and you all have a joint account.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
So you put X amount of money in the joint account, she puts X amount of money in the joint account. What is that joint account supposed to be used for?
So we also do like promoting and events. So it's like to help us save money as well for our future because we are engaged. I thought that we planned on, you know, having a future together, so it is an account for us to both save money.
Did you have a conversation with your fiancé about the removal of $1,500 from your joint account?
No, I did not have a conversation with her about it because I didn't feel like it was a big deal to have a conversation with her about it.
I don't believe it was for a family member because why didn't you come and talk to me first? Why didn't you ask me first?
What you mean? I mean, look how you're acting.
I beg your pardon. I'm coming to you, Ms. Chandler.
Yes.
What is that account supposed to be for?
That is our joint account. What she's saying is true.
So that's the account where the two of you make decisions on how that money is spent. Exactly. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you have your private account. If you want to do something with it, you can do what you want. She has her private, and then there is a family account. Community
Your Honor.
pot, I like to call it.
Yes, Your Honor.
You took this money from the community pot.
Yes, I took the money from the pot to help my family member. And she knows this.
Okay, but
And I
wait a
feel like
minute.
I shouldn't
Wait a
even have
minute.
to
Hold
explain.
up. Ms. Chandler, did you have a conversation with your fiancé about the removal of $1,500 from your joint account?
No, I did not have a conversation with her about it because I didn't feel like it was a big deal to have a conversation with her about it. And I knew that I was going to put it right back in the account.
The money was never put right back into the account, and I don't believe it was for a family member. I don't believe it was for a family member because why didn't you come and talk to me first? Why didn't you ask me first?
What you mean? I mean, look how you're acting.
I beg your pardon. Is that accurate as to the date?
Yes, ma'am. That was right after we got engaged.
That's a year ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you received the $1,500?
I have not personally received the $1,500.
Has the $1,500 been put back into the account?
Not into my account, no, ma'am.
Back to you, Ms. Chandler. What happened to the money?
What happened to the money? I helped a family member out with it. I haven't received the money back from them yet, but I do trust in them that they will send it back. Just because it haven't been in the account yet, but trust and believe it will be there.
Okay, but when is it gonna happen? Because you don't need to look at her, you need to look at me. When is it gonna be there? Because I'm gonna tell you something right now, I consider that stealing. Okay? Because you didn't ask me my permission. I am supposed to be sharing in this account. I've put money in this account. $1,500 is missing, and you are not providing an explanation that is sufficient to me. So if it was my money, I would say you stole my money. When am I getting it back? That's what I would say.
Yes, Your Honor, I definitely understand that. But the fact that she's not the only person that's putting money in there, I'm putting money in there as well. So rather, it's
Where's
still
my $750 then?
It's my part.
Where's my $750 then? Because if it's a joint account, at least I own half of it. So where is the money? Why haven't you put the money back? And you need to be honest about this.
I just haven't had time to put it back in there. But
you haven't had time, or you haven't had the money?
I haven't had time.
Okay, so it don't take that much time. I transferred $1,500 today. This morning, I woke up, I took my phone, I hit Zelle, and I transferred $1,500. It don't take no time. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
I did all that before I brushed my teeth. So what are you talking about? You didn't have time. Here's an explanation. If you wanted to get that child her money, you would have. What else has happened to make you not trust her?
I just feel like if I told her my past traumas, that she should act and move a different type of way versus giving me reasons to assume. Like, for an example, which I submitted evidence to the court as well, she left home in a rush, and she forgot that her laptop was open. So I'm like, okay, well, let me...
We've already established what you did.
So
we know exactly what you did, Ms. Collins.
So I said, let me see what this laptop is like. Went through her emails, and I found the hotel receipt, ma'am, that was booked for 2 days. 2 days. I asked Robin, I say, why was it a hotel receipt booked in your name? Oh, it was for a promo event. Okay, well, we're a team. We have a business together. We're a team. We have a business
I have
together.
my own personal businesses.
Why would she not tell me? Why would I not get a text
What
call?
you mean?
One
I
at
mean
a time,
nothing.
please. One at a
Thank
time.
you. I didn't get nothing. No, nothing about this hotel.
So here's my question. Where was the hotel? In your town?
Yes, ma'am.
And was it for a date in advance, or was it for a date pass?
She had it. It was for a date pass.
Okay.
I found it after the fact. I found another incriminating text messages in her phone from an unknown number saying how much, again, I miss you, I want to be with you.
If you don't have trust, you don't have a relationship.
Right.
That's my favorite slogan.
Well, I am so glad. I'm going to come to you, Ms. Chandler.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me about this hotel receipt.
This hotel receipt is for my promo event. I have my own personal business that's not regarding to her, so I didn't feel like I had the need to tell her about my own personal business. And I mean, look how she's acting now. That's why I didn't say anything about it.
Ma'am.
I want to see the hotel receipt.
Show
and we
the
can
hotel
discuss
receipt.
it. Yes.
Yes, very much.
Okay, so check in Sunday, August, 2 nights. Okay, 1 room. So do you know where she was on those dates?
She does be out working, promoting. So who is to say that while she's out working, she's there spending time with whoever's at the hotel?
But who's to say that she wasn't at the promo event, like she said, if in fact she would check in on a Sunday evening, and then there's an event on Monday, you have to keep it through that full day. I know that to be fact, because if you don't, you have to be out by 11 o'clock the next morning.
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you have the event that day, that means you have to keep it through the next day, and then you take your little behind home that next morning. That is what normally happens.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you have to go to a hotel for an event.
It wasn't no pictures. If it was a promo event, why didn't I see no pictures? I didn't see no videos on social media. I didn't see none of that.
So you don't believe that what Ms. Chandler says was occurring was actually occurring?
Yes, ma'am.
But we don't have any evidence that proves that she did not use this hotel for a legitimate business reason. We just have evidence that she did, in fact, have a hotel room, but she has provided her own answer for that. And I think, there's a reason why you asked for a polygraph examination.
Yes, ma'am.
And these are some of the questions that we need to get answered. What else makes you say that your suspicions lead you to believe that she's cheating? Because this sounds like a lot of suspicion, but not a whole lot of fact. And I want to make sure that we're dealing only in fact. Ms. Collins?
Yes, ma'am. So, again, I went through Robin's phone, and this was the final straw. I found another incriminating text messages in her phone from an unknown number saying how much, again, I miss you. I want to be with you.
Oh, you
and
got to stop.
this was after the hotel receipt.
Oh,
This
baby.
is after I found the hotel receipt.
And you submitted this text.
Yes, I did.
I would like to see the text.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, babe, what are you doing? Nothing, waiting on my food. What about you? Nothing much, just thinking about. Oh, is that?
Oh, for real?
Oh, for real. Thank you, because Auntie is trying to make sure she hip, but I don't know everything. Yes, when am I going to see you again? I'm missing you.
Your Honor,
Yes, I'm listening.
I don't even have that's text message. That I have an iPhone, so
You can easily turn your iMessage off, and it will send green. Don't do that.
for what? Why
Don't do
would I
that.
need to do that?
I don't know. You are
So it just is so clear that there
And
is
you have
no
insecurities.
There's no trust
No.
in this relationship. I want to know, it's Miss Chandler's turn. Miss Chandler, what is going on? Why does your fiance not trust you? What has happened to make her not trust you?
I feel like it's past trauma, Your Honor. Like, she has insecurities, issues. She has trust issues with previous relationships and everything else, and I just honestly feel like she's bringing it into this one.
And that's a very fair assessment, because if you don't have trust, you don't have a relationship.
Right.
That's my favorite slogan.
Okay? Well, I am so glad.
find out
Because
today.
I know that you came in here, Ms. Collins, with a lot of allegations, and Ms. Chandler says it's all in your mind. And one of the ways that I'd like to at least give a couple of opportunity to get everything out in the open is to call in an expert. Will you please ask Mr. Yarbrough to join us today? Ladies, you know I did a court order polygraph examination, and Ms. Chandler, you said, let me go ahead and do it because I'm tired of this. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Yarbrough, thank you for joining us. Will you please state your professional affiliation so that our court knows exactly why you're here?
Absolutely, Your Honor. My name is John Yarbrough. I'm a certified polygraph examiner and a member of the American Polygraph Association. I have conducted hundreds of polygraphs for law enforcement and other public safety agencies, as well as private and professional polygraphs.
Thank you, Mr. Yarbrough. I find you qualified as an expert in polygraph examinations, and he has provided services for this court. So, Ms. Chandler, to your credit, you willingly submitted to a polygraph examination that was performed by Mr. Yarbrough. Mr. Yarbrough, you asked Ms. Chandler, did you share the hotel with someone you had sexual contact with?
In the lie detector test.
Is that correct? What was Ms. Chandler's answer?
Her answer was no.
And what did the test results indicate?
The polygraph indicated that there was deception noted to that call.
I told you. I told you. I lied. My gut instinct never lie.
Baby, please.
Girl, bye.
Girl, whatever.
Over with. Done.
Miss, excuse me. Mr. Yarbrough, we asked Ms. Chandler, since dating Amy, have you had sexual contact with anyone else?
That is correct.
What was Ms. Chandler's answer?
Her answer was no.
And what did the test results indicate?
The polygraph examination result was there was deception indicated.
Oh, Lord.
I have every right to feel how I feel right now. I just don't want to be with her. I can't even look at her. Engagement is
girl.
off. I'm very hurt right now.
You don't need to be hurt. You need to be free.
I wasted my time.
I'm about to give you some truth, sweetheart. You were used for your place and access. And now take back your life, because your ex-fiancé is for the streets. That's my verdict.
Whatever. I don't care. The lie detector test was a lie. No, I'm my behind. You got me messed up. They gonna bring me up on here. I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear that either.
Like a liar.
I'm not a dang on liar.
On me right now. Embarrassing me.
You can definitely stand away. Choose. And I will want my ring back too. I want my ring back. Yeah, please make sure you give it to me.
Made